Radio Free Skaro!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio Free Skaro, episode 977. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Or in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
Or he'll yes and however I say it.
And I'll be no way, bro.
Yeah, I like that. He's the guy in the audience going, what is this crap?
Yeah, and that's how we've done it for.
What do you mean improv? Why is this not scripted?
That's the proper response to improv is, what is this crap?
Shut it right down. Shut it down before it gets too far. Otherwise, you get...
no audience work. Do not do any audience work on me, sir.
No, exactly. Yeah, uncontrolled improv.
I need a suggestion for a profession and a location.
Getting off this stage.
No, Chris is quoting the what's the name of it? Whose line is it anyway? It said, "Are you being served?" One of those question-based titles.
Whose line anyway is an improv show, yes.
Yeah.
What if Are You Being Served was an improv show? It wouldn't be any better.
I think it was improv, actually. Based on the... No, it wasn't.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was some script deviations there.
It wouldn't surprise me either.
I think Are You Being Served was just unused carry-on film scripts, I think, just turned into TV shows, I think is how that turned out.
All I know is it would come on after something I liked on PBS and go,
yeah,
nope, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. No, thank you.
Yeah, I was out
make
too.
Mrs. Slocum's pussy cry.
Oh, see, this is the type of stuff. That's
some carry on right there. Yeah.
This is the culture. Everyone thinks about, look how great British culture was. We had I, Claudius back then. No, we also had Are You Being Served? All right, there were lots of, it was a wide scope. Was the 1970s.
My version of that was Chris. What's his last name? The guy from Red Dwarf. I can't remember his name.
Chris Berry.
Chris Berry. And he was in a show called The Brit-Ass Empire. I'm like, I think Red Dwarf is great. I'm going to watch this. Yeah. And I got like half an episode in, and I was like, this is some crappy community center hijinks. What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, that was so good.
Well, Kat likes Chris Berry in general, but she quite liked British Empire. That lasted for, 4 or 5 or 6 years?
Yeah.
Well, it's like Mrs. Brown's Boys. Everybody, you see how popular it is, and you watch 10 seconds, you're like, this is the pipeline from Mrs. Brown's Boys to Gammon's rioting in the streets is probably shorter than you think it is.
Right.
I don't think I've ever met anyone who's admitted to liking Mrs. Brown's Boys.
But it gets insane
or
numbers,
watching it.
Yeah.
But exactly, it gets insane numbers somehow.
Yeah. TV ratings, baby. They don't matter. But hey, we'll talk about that a little bit later when we talk about some Doctor Who. Later on, also in this episode, the penultimate episode of the Jon Pertwee era, season 11, and indeed Planet of the Spiders, part 5 as our commentary. But we kick off, though, with the big news of the weekend. Gallifrey One announces Jenna Coleman as guest at the next convention in February.
Yeah.
Right.
Hooray.
Right?
That's pretty cool.
That is way cool. Yeah.
She hasn't been in Doctor Who for years, obviously, but I mean, like we were talking about before recording, like she's been here at Edmonton Expo.
Yep.
In the past, like I'm 3 feet away from a photo op Kat got with her back in the day. You interviewed her on stage when that happened.
I did. There are clips on YouTube, of me interviewing her. Actually, it's also on this podcast because I recorded it as well. Maybe I wasn't authorized to do it, but I did it anyway. Hooked up.
They haven't asked us to take it down yet, so
I think we're safe. I think we're safe, but yeah.
Is there a statute of limitations on that sort of thing?
I don't think so. No.
Edmonton Expo is it's 2 weeks away.
It's kind of, no Doctor Who guests. Certainly not Jenna Coleman, who is
no. My former boss Victor Lucas is there. For those who care.
Yeah.
Why did you fire me?
I never got fired.
Okay,
never got fired.
Sure.
I just say sure, but I never got fired. They laid off a bunch of people, and I quit before that happened. But,
of course. Oh, no, I understand.
And might I add, I did that during the financial crisis in 2008. So,
right.
So that was not an easy decision, but I was like, I can either work myself to death and then get laid off or take off now.
All right. Can we talk more about Jenna Coleman, please? Jenna Coleman.
You raised it.
You raised it. Jenna Coleman appearing. She's going to be at the VIP event on on the Friday, but we'll be on stage on both Saturday and Sunday also with autograph sessions, photo ops both days. Separate VIP script reading on the Sunday morning. That's been very popular as in the past few years with the big name guests, as well as a special private meet and greet on one of the 2 days of the event. So there you go. That's cool. Jenna Coleman. Sean Lyon has been after Jenna Coleman to be at the convention for a long, long time. So hooray for landing Clara Oswald, a lot of people's favorite companion. And let's face it, we've been talking a little bit off. I'm thinking we miss the Moffat era. Not that we don't like current Doctor Who or anything post 2015, but man, Moffat era was.
But we still miss the Moffat era.
Yeah, I think that's our sweet spot.
We've also gotten our hands on the original Star Wars prints, and we miss those too. So we're just old people, is what it boils down to.
Kind of, but I think a lot. There's someone on Twitter has been, I don't know, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, has been discovering the Moffat era for the first time or something like that, and it's just like agog at the twists and turns that era is taking, and sharing their tweets, and friends of ours are retweeting that, and so it's been fun living through people's discovery of the Stephen Moffat era for the first time, which is what we did 15 years ago. It's been a while.
Well, I mean, it was hardly the first twist and or turn of the Moffat era, but that's Coleman true. Was involved in one of the biggest ones.
Right,
that was a genius move.
With the Asylum of the Dalek's appearance, and the advanced screening of it, and the audience staying stum about.
I call that a cover-up.
Her presence. Well, Moffat asked that they not say anything, and they listened.
They listened. Yeah,
they played nice.
They did. They really did. So cool. So anyway, Jenna Coleman joins a whole host, like Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Catherine Tate, there's the whole list. I mean, when because they've been doing it differently at Gallifrey One this time around, as opposed to waiting for giant blocks. Basically, when a big guest is ready to go, they announce it, and only then do you sort of realize, oh wow, look at the guest lineup already, and then like you're adding Jenna Coleman to this list. So
yeah,
it's gonna be a fun time.
Not done yet.
Not done yet. Hint, hint, hint.
Waiting for Douglas Camfield to get announced.
Dot. R.I.P. It's been dead 40 years, sadly, but
well, we're not going to let that stop us.
Who's due for a comeback then?
That's true. Hey, for our miniscope preparations, we get to watch some Douglas Camfield directed Doctor Who. So
yeah, that's true.
Here's your tie-in.
That might be the upshot.
Yeah, Terry Nation miniscope coming this fall, kids. We've been watching Terry Nation stuff over the past few days, into the next few weeks.
Referring to it as my long national nightmare.
Yeah, it's going to be a
lot of Terry Nation.
Oh yeah, national. I get it. National, get it? Nation.
That was completely unintentional.
I know. I didn't get it either.
Don't give me any point for being clever on that one.
No, but... anyway, tickets still available for Gallifrey One, Gallifrey1.com. Go see Jenna Coleman in person at Gallifrey One, the best convention on Earth. It's great. So that's the big news from this weekend. What else has happened these days? So Russell T Davies has been, I shouldn't say he's been speaking recently. It's been stuff that he said, I think back at Comic-Con for the most part, has come out now. Like, so the last part of a 2-part interview in SFX magazine came out, where a comment I think that RTD made at San Diego Comic-Con has said that he's hopeful Doctor Who will be renewed for season 3, but they won't find out until after season 2 has even aired. So like spring, early summer of next year is when they'll find out if they get a renewal. Yeah. Which honestly, I don't think is that far from what we've always had, to be honest. But anyway, go ahead, Chris.
Probably not. Yeah. But I mean, I think about the timing and the logistics of something like that. I mean, they shot the first two seasons, back to back, basically, and had a whole lot of lead time for post and promotion, marketing, and all that kind of stuff. And we're still only getting the 9 episodes a year. So if we don't hear anything until spring of 2025 or early summer 2025, are they? I mean, I'm assuming they're not going to start shooting in advance of that because there's no guaranteed money from Disney at that point. the BBC might step in and say, "Cool, you go for it."
Yep.
But I mean that would be a whole different kettle of fish. And what does that mean? It would be 2027 before we saw season 3, or what? Because like in that SFX interview, RTD says that speaking about Gatwa not being available because of sex education, like they had tentative timetables for his availability, and those kept getting pushed back, and so one of the options that they were exploring was season 1 in 2025, and he didn't like that, and obviously they didn't do that. But I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and are we going to have like maybe a one-off like we did for was it Husbands of River Song?
Something like that,
yeah, 2016, yeah.
Whereas just the one episode for the entire calendar year, and like that's like, I don't know, but it just makes me wonder what kind of repercussions that would have down the line if the ascent comes then.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't there a big gap for Mysterio and then later 2? I seem to recall that being the case. Or am I wrong about that?
And 2?
What do you mean? One or the other, whicher it was. Mysterio or Husband.
It was Mysterio. That's right. It wasn't River Song. It was Mysterio's 2016.
One or the other, whichever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was Husband of River Song in 2015. Then the only episode in 2016, the worst year until 2020. There was only one Doctor Who episode, and then 2017 kicked back with
which is the worst thing that happened in 2016.
It's the worst thing. Even Doctor Who said, "No, we're not. We're taking this year off. It's going to be bad. All of our favorite celebrities are going to die, and then the election's going to happen." Yeah.
One thing I liked about the SFX article is that he addresses fan speculation and says, "Hey, listen, for the 10 minutes you've thought about this, we've been bathing in it for 24 hours. I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he said.
Yeah.
Like, believe me, the stuff you're talking about, we have been thinking about for quite some time now. And he's absolutely right. Like, people involved in this I'm not going to say no better because that sounds arrogant, but they are more involved than some fan. Mm-hmm. Even us. Like, not even. That shouldn't elevate us either. We're just speculating at the end of the day, too.
It's also interesting to see him read him talking about stuff like just even the size of the crew on the show. Because he mentions how comparable shows would have like 3 times the crew, and they're getting things done on a whatever tighter budget and fewer people and all that kind of stuff. And I think back to the Unleashed for specifically Rogue. And just the sheer number of people they have on crew for that,
right?
And I'm like, this is a third of what something else would have.
Listen, walk around Vancouver and you'll see the sheer amount of people working on a film. That working is a bit of a stretch, frankly.
Amongst other things, that makes me wonder how much waste there is with other productions.
Oh,
plenty.
I remember this is back in like the late 90s. And a friend of mine who I was working with also was like trying to break into like the extra, like the supporting artist game, right? And so I think they were shooting some like some movie, had like Michael Ironside, I think it was in it or something, in Edmonton or something. And so he
that's the most Canadian film thing I've ever heard.
I know. I don't even know what it was or what was released. But he played basically, he was a cop in the background is what he was, and like you could see him a little bit, and then he walked out. And he was telling me about like he sat in like the holding pen for extras for the whole day. They go, we might need you, and they say, okay, stand by. And then like 3 hours later, okay, no, we won't need you today. So they basically just paid extras to sit around for a whole day and not use them. Just think about about equipment and higher paid crew. And this is back in the late 90s, and so you think, this has only gotten worse since then,
And that's not just their salaries either. I'm sure it's also craft services and transportation and whatever costumes, whatever else.
You look at the latest Indiana Jones movie, which I very much liked, but it cost $350 million, and that can't all be de-aging Harrison Ford in his salary.
Oh no!
Is that what it costs, or does that include like marketing money?
No, that's the cost of the film itself. So, and that's probably reshoots and it's the FX,
COVID delays and protocols.
Yeah,
and
I'm just saying all this stuff costs a zillion dollars, especially studio stuff. But the thing about extras is funny because I'm reading, which I picked up in London, David Niven's The Moon's a Balloon. That's how he started out, was being an extra for a little bit, and he got plucked out. Mm-hmm. But he said there's always been two groups of extras, and according to people who work in film, I know this has not changed in 100 years. The people who just are the background guys, and a lot of them don't even want to be actors. It's just a regular, it's essentially a daily job for them. Right. And then there's the ones who jockey for position to become wannabe stars, who everyone hates. Right. So, and I'm like, I bet you this is no different. And so I asked my friend who works on movies, and he was like, oh yeah, that completely happens now too. It's the exact same thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how it works in Doctor Who, but like, I mean, TV is just, this is just what TV has become. I mean, it's interesting that the SFX article in the latest, buy the magazine, it's more like $5 on pocketmags.com. Is, you know, the question is like, oh, is there anything you do differently? And this is where he sort of goes off on like, you know, about what to do with like, maybe we shouldn't have done essentially 2 Dr. Light episodes back to back, but like, how do you structure it? Because we didn't know when to start shooting because of sex education and everything. And like, so clearly it's something that's been stewing in RTD's mind. Mm-hmm. And, you know, been waiting for the outlet to sort of, you know, talk about.
Shut up, nerds.
Yeah, I like, you know, he'd like 52 episodes a year, but that's never going to happen. There's, you know, like, it's basically 8. There's only the 8 is going to be the maximum. 9 with the Christmas special.
Yeah.
From now on, and that's just TV. Let's face it. You know, like,
just name something that isn't on CBS named at Boomers that isn't 8 to 10 episodes.
Yeah, you know that, especially. I mean, it's when you think back. It's amazing that Doctor Who even had 42 episodes a year in the 60s or something like that, because it's entirely, you know, you could shoot 42 episodes of Z Cars because there's a standing set. There's your police station set that 90% of the action is taking place in. Whereas Doctor Who, you sometimes they say, we don't have room for our one consistent set. There will be no TARDIS scenes. We have to build entirely new sets. Like, Doctor Who is the best format, but also the worst format because...
Well, most shows are standing set only. Like, most of them are,
like,
for that reason. It's
you look back at old like TNG episodes, and it's like, this probably costs nothing. It's like there's literally like one new cast member, guest star, or something like that. And
usually the Enterprise.
The rest of it's just on the Enterprise. They're probably using just sort of like stock model shots put against different backgrounds. It's like they probably bang this out in a week, you know?
Yeah, and that's not necessarily a bad thing either.
No.
I can think of a few like bottle episodes of TNG that are great.
Some people are yearning for the days of 26 episode seasons because we would get
some people are you, Stephen. Let's be honest.
Not even me. That's when I'm bringing it up because like, oh wow, like let's face it, people who are our age, like they're not like young kids. I think are saying that we should have this again, but like, you know, the expectations or the perceived expectations of the audience thinking we need to see basically 50-minute movies every single week because we need to compare. No, we don't actually. I feel like we've gone too far. We don't need to see a Marvel movie every single week. We can have tight little dramas on TV. The dividing line between movies and TVs has sort of been very blurred for the past 10, 15 years now.
More than that, even, I'd say.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that we've landed on a happy medium. I think we're kind of getting like bloated TV productions. What's that?
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power. Like
that's an outlier though, just due to how insane amount of money they spent on that.
It just costs so much money, and I'm not sure.
And here's the thing. Yeah, I watched I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but there's a scene in the beginning of season 2, episode 1 that made me think I'm going to go back to the original movies and see that scene basically in context. And then all I did was watch 10 minutes of the original movie and go, damn, I don't even mind Rings of Power. I think it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But damn, these movies are just transcendent. Like there's no competition here.
Yeah.
I was going to say, there's this one little section that I quite enjoyed.
Right. Of the interview you're talking about here?
Of the interview, yeah. RTD saying, I'd like 52 episodes of Doctor Who a year. That would make me happy. It's never going to happen, and I don't think that we'll ever see that increasing in years to come, to be honest. It's 9, not 8 with a Christmas special. Mm-hmm. Given the nature of funding, the nature of production, I don't think it's ever going to increase. Don't forget, we've got the big spin-off, The War Between the Land and the Sea, and trust me, that's 5 massive episodes. It's a lot to produce. So complain all you like, it's not going to change.
Mm-hmm. No, it's beyond him. It's just like you said, Stephen, it's the state of the industry, and it all comes down to money. It's what it boils down to.
It's it almost makes me reconsider when that.
But it's. Sorry, I was going to say it's absolutely money, but I mean, there's definitely more factors in that as well.
Yeah.
Like as we talked about, like, availability of your cast,
your main
and
star,
the audience watching. Like, you were pretty much guaranteed back in the network TV days, which is like, let's say the 60s or 70s, tons and tons and tons of people would watch, because what else choice do they have? Now they got a billion choices.
They had none of it.
And then because we don't need a movie, a 50-minute, grandiose thing every week. It'd be nice if they could, maybe scale that back, reappropriate some of the budget, maybe bump it to 12, 13, 15.
Here's an example you're not going to like, but Ted Lasso is exactly that. It's pretty scaled back, and people go, I mean, there's the pandemic to consider, but pretty simple story, whether you like it or not. That's kind of what you're asking for, is something like that.
Well,
but they're also... Yeah. I was going to say, sorry to interrupt, Stephen. Right. They're filming in London. That's not cheap.
True. Yeah.
The people like Jason Sudeikis are making scads of money. Like a lot of the budget, I'm sure, goes to Sudeikis and Brendan Hunt and
a lot of soccer is green screen stuff. So yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, there's a lot. And
also, it's Apple stuff. Who are bankrolling it, so they've got no money problems, honestly. So.
But even that, I mean, like, I didn't watch the show, but I know a lot of people complained about season 3 being very bloated, and like the storylines went off the rails a bit. And like, even then, like, you're
but that
tiny,
does seem like more of what you're talking about.
Yeah, but your tiny little TV show that used to have 28-minute episodes, now like they're 45 or 48. It's like, this used to be a comedy. It's just like, I don't know.
For Ted Lasso specifically, it was. So the plan, I think, was always to do the 3 years. Now there's talk about a 4th season and whatnot. But anyway, the plan was, I think, to always do the 3 years. At the start of the show, like season 1, episodes were 25, 30 minutes. But they wanted to cram as much as they could in there to, I guess, complete the story or whatever. So by, late season 3, episodes were an hour and a quarter, hour 20, hour 30.
Really? Wow. I've watched a few of the first episodes, nothing else.
So I mean, it's still the same 10 or whatever episodes, 12, whatever, I forget the number they had. Anyway, same number of episodes, but you're instead of a 30-minute episode you're producing, you're doubling that, tripling that. So everything else obviously has to double, triple in cost and time and whatnot.
I mean, the opening of Rings of Power season 2, episode 1 was an hour 17. I'm like, oh god,
come on, what are we doing here?
And that's before seeing it and going, that was all right.
Yeah,
it's still like an hour 17. I did it in like half and half chunks, I think.
I wouldn't. I mean, some Doctor Who episodes these days are like still like 42, 45 minutes. Like, I feel like we could probably stand to gain an extra 5 minutes or so. I do think that RTD, who certainly doesn't breathe enough, I feel like they could probably pace it out a little differently.
Can we cue your rant about the Sea Devils episode?
Which is not an RTD one.
No.
No, but I mean, just as far as like compressed and
removed
stuff being dropped from it,
stuff chopped out for whatever weird racist reason.
Even what they had to deal with when they were producing Flux.
That too.
That was not supposed to be 6 episodes.
No, I mean, I don't know. I this goes back to like, I'm not too sure that people who make TV know who they're making it for anymore. Is that is kind of what I'm getting at, is that they think they want big giant movies on TV. Do they really? I don't know. Some people are yearning. I mean, older people are yearning for the old days where we could do like little character pieces here and there, and it was kind of fun. But like, we're getting bombarded with, because all of a sudden when you're doing an 8-episode season, if you do a little side character piece, it feels like, oh no, well, they just wasted one of our 8 episodes on this thing. So now you almost feel compelled, like you have to have like, completely massive grand adventures every single week. And you don't,
Don't forget, Hollywood's not a... Oh, go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say that ties in with RT's comments about, back-to-back effectively Dr. Light episodes as well. Like, how cheated do you feel with something like that happening?
A whole quarter of your season is Doctor free, essentially. You know, it's like watching a John Wiles, William Hartnell season in a way.
Speaking of the Keys of Marinus, so where they make a point of having an episode just to get him out of there for vacation or whatever.
2 weeks, yeah.
So don't forget, Hollywood is a bastion of unoriginal thought. If one person does something and it kind of works, the rest of them do it for the next 10 years. And then whatever the new thing. I was talking about this, about the whole gray slop phenomenon, about how in the 90s things looked a lot nicer because that was how they filmed stuff and how they shoot stuff flat and then they change it around and color it different ways now. But most of the time it looks pretty monochrome. This will eventually change. You don't see orange and teal like you used to either. But they have to get out of their system for whatever the new thing might be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just thinking about like recently finally having gone through the Celestial Toymaker Blu-ray.
Right.
I mean, that's not John Wiles, it's Innislade, but still.
John Wiles put it through, I think, yeah. It was a weird hybrid of productions on that one by that time, yeah.
But I mean, the saving grace to something like that, and so for, say, like 73 Yards, for example, Millie Gibson does an amazing job. Fantastic performance. She nails it. She delivers. She is the center and the focus, and she does very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
The corollary to that for like Toymaker is, Peter Purvis. That man is owning the show. Yeah, because 90% of the content is him and Dodo doing whatever in the games, and a little bit of the Toymaker and the Doctor's hand. But Doctor Who has thankfully had enough of a tradition of having other strengths cover certain deficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
That we know of. I'm sure there's other ones we don't know of.
Yeah.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
And it's not every circumstance either, but at least it's enough.
Yeah, reading this article and what he said, 5 massive episodes of Twiblat's The War Between the Land and the Sea, it's kind of put me in, like, I remember sort of like, tentatively guessing that it might air the fall of next year. I'm starting to rethink that it might be 2026. I feel like at this point, if they're waiting for season 2 to drop or to see how the numbers do before they go into production for season 3, I feel like a better stopgap is to put The War Between the Land and the Sea in spring of 2026.
And also doing one episode a week, as they did with season 1, things like that. But it's gonna need to be a buffer between one season and another, and timing that buffer is I'm sure tricky.
That's tough, We'll see.
Especially with only 5 episodes.
It's only 5 episodes, but they have to be. Then they're 5 massive episodes because we're in that weird gray line.
Are massive a lot.
Yeah,
so
that's true. It's just like 4 massive episodes, one in the middle. That is. But I just feel like, I don't know. Is the bubble ever going to burst? I mean, I know that they're making fewer productions now, especially because of the strike and the whole streaming bubble has kind of burst a little bit.
Yeah, people haven't worked. Like, lots of people are not working. Like, there's stay alive till 2025 is the Hollywood mantra for below the line people. And probably some above the line ones too. Like there's just not that much going on right now. It's hard to take a moment in time and say, no, it's cyclical. It always is. Hollywood screws up and it comes back. But who knows? Who knows what the next thing is going to be? Yeah.
I mean, kids apparently are only watching either 45-second TikTok videos or 4-hour video essays on YouTube and nothing in between.
That's us picking and choosing to make fun of it. But,
I know, it's so weird. But
that's not too far from
there. But also there's a grain of truth there for sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like, what do the younger people actually like watching on TV? Like,
aren't going to be the younger people soon, and we'll move into positions of power, and they'll be the ones deciding it. And so at some point, they'll be the ones you'll be seeing 4-hour essays in the movie. Well, there won't be movie theaters. It'll just be different, probably.
Yeah,
and unrecognizable, and we'll go back to our pirated 4K 77 prints of Star Wars.
That's the thing. I movies are just moving, just becoming streaming things. And so what's the difference? So now you can't really make a TV show that looks cheaper than a movie because they're both being shown primarily on the same medium.
At the same time, you've got the Mandalorian thing, which is going to be a movie, right?
Yeah.
But X-Files did this in the 90s, where they had one movie I'd rather forget about, and one that wasn't actually that bad, but was part of the continuity of the series, which then went on to keep doing the continuity of the series, right? So it's not completely unprecedented.
No, it isn't. But we won't know if what the future of we're also, let's face it, as Doctor Who fans, we are so spoiled because
cynical.
And cynical too, because we're so spoiled. Because they're like, oh, well, we won't know if we're going to be automatically renewed for season 3 until like another year. Whereas like some people like glom onto a new show, feel compelled to watch it in the first weekend because basically Netflix or Prime Video are holding a gun to it, said you better watch this the first weekend and show that you like it, otherwise we're canceling it. And then they do, and they tell all their friends about it, and they do their best, but it's like one of 547 shows out there, and they love it, they boost about it. We canceled it. Like Doctor Who fans don't have
series,
that.
To name but one.
The Willow series, My Lady Jane was a recent one.
I mean, it still happens with the network stuff like Firefly.
Well, it always happens.
Well, that's old.
Yeah. Firefly, there has to be a moratorium when people talk about Firefly. It's been 20 years, people. Please let it go. Let it go to name.
I think so, but
Chris brought it up now, and that's the first time I've heard it since like before the pandemic.
That's true. Good point. Yeah. And I'm not slagging you off here, Chris. I'm just saying I've met people who won't shut up about Firefly.
Yeah. But like the fact that we feel compelled to like just get automatically renewed for Doctor Who is such, let's face it, it's a luxury. Like it's a luxury.
It's a little entitled on our part.
A little bit. I mean, it's going on 20 years starting next year. 20 years of modern Who. Obviously, it's not every single year. There's been gaps here and there, but still 20 years.
But that's close to the classic run. Like we're not far off from matching the classic run.
Right.
And then we had how many years of not having Doctor Who?
16 apart from one TV movie in there.
Part of the movie,
yeah. We've been lucky, folks. We've been really lucky to have a show go on for as long as it has been going on and has been increasing in, for the most part. There's been a couple of dips here in popularity and stuff and exposure, but like we are on like the best possible platform for it now than it's ever been on.
Yeah,
the only comparisons. Sorry, go ahead.
It may not be another number of eyeballs that it used to get with 14, 15 million.
But the market breadth has just so
the breadth of the audience has dramatically increased. Yeah.
So the only thing I can think that compares in terms of how long it's been around and gaps and all is Trek. That's the only thing I can think of that kind of had the same thing happen to it. Twice now.
Yeah. Basically, every show is a niche show right now because you're not going to get the massive giant hit that literally everyone is watching. Everyone might watch it eventually, but they're not watching it right now. They're
Stranger Things is maybe as close as you get, and even that's not that big comparatively to some MASH or something. Like,
and just go back to our
we'll never have the MASH finale again.
No,
not even the finale. That show would get massive numbers every week.
Yeah,
just cuz.
But that was TV. There were 3 channels. People, what else are you gonna watch? Huh? You got to turn the TV off. Good luck.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good luck
like
to
I said
that.
Before,
Yeah. Whereas streaming, I just don't think there's no shows that just say you have to watch this right now and everyone's going to watch it right now because a lot of them just drop and people watch it when they want. And this is what everyone wanted back in the day when Netflix first started these things. Like, oh my God, I can just watch things when I want to watch them. I don't have to tune in at a certain time. And now it has kind of eliminated the call to action to watch a show. And because there are so many shows, and maybe as we were talking about earlier, there used to be literally 547 shows were produced like 2 years ago in the US alone. And I think it's dropped like into 300s now or something like that. Like maybe the lack of shows will help others sort of rise like sometimes you flip on, you open up your Prime Video app, so here's season 4 of this again. This is literally the first time I've ever heard of this show. And you're telling me there's been 4 seasons of it?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people just haven't been able to discover them. But anyway.
My counter sort of to that is like one of the reasons I never watched Babylon 5 originally is because it was a weekly thing that built up and built up and built up. And if you missed it, you missed it. You had to tape everything. And all the nerds I knew with tapes would not give them up. They were hoarding weirdos about it. So I just never got into it to the point where now I'm like, I'm not putting the time in now. Forget it.
Right.
I'm sure it's great. I know people who love your wife and Chip and a few other people just love this show, and probably for good reasons. But I just couldn't get into it in the start, and that was partly because of the ecosystem it was in.
Yep. Yeah. Which is basically what it is now. Except, of course, there were 26 episode seasons back then, and those aren't coming.
As far as I know, it's not streaming anywhere either.
No,
not in Canada anyway. Yeah.
No, it's I've bought that show more than I've watched it. I bought the iTunes version, and then when it came out on Blu-ray, bought it on Blu-ray. So Babylon 5, which if Doctor Who is canceled, we'll be switching to a Babylon 5 podcast format.
Again, not slagging the show, but it's just. It was ahead of its time, and now everything is Babylon 5, and I'm just not watching that either. So.
No, exactly. Anyway, wow, that was like a 30-minute conversation based on like one comment in SFX magazine. So
sure was.
Well done, SFX. You got some conversation out of a thing. Let's talk about old things, as is our want. BFI, as you know, last weekend it was. They had a screening for the Happiness Patrol. It's supposed to be the Redux with the movie length version with like added footage and Candyman's death and all of this stuff. But they got supplied the wrong copy, and everyone went home grumpy, and the BFI was burned down in a riot. It was a bit of a scene. There was some mild grumbling in the pub.
Some thuggery.
But hey, the BFI and indeed the people who put on these things have announced that on September 29th there will be a screening again of the Happiness Patrol, but the actual proper version that was supposed to be shown on the.
Well, do the people have to buy tickets again, or do they get a refund, or how's that work?
They do.
I don't know if there's any refunds, but the ticket sales were restarted.
Yeah, I'm going to. I know it says that the tickets go on sale Thursday, September 12th. By the way, and I know that it says Sylvester McCoy
go off sale the same day.
Yeah, McCoy, Aldred, and Andrew Cartmel will also take part in the paid for signing follow this event. So I'm assuming they aren't bringing the same panel back because they had like Chris Clough and Aldred and Sheila Hancock was there. Stephen Mansfield, who's the model maker of Fifi, was there as well. I don't think they're not probably having the same discussion panel. I think they're probably just having a screening and then a signing afterwards, which is pretty cool. But that's pretty cool. Pretty cool for like a mea culpa to say, we messed up here. Come along. Do pay us again still, but do come along.
What if Dalton the Bannerman or Paradise Talent or something else shows up? It's completely the wrong, or it's like a Blake 7 or something.
Oh yeah. Oops, sorry, did it again. Blake 7. Dang it. So that's pretty cool. That must be coinciding with the imminent release of the season 25 box set in the UK, which now of course compels me to see if there is a release date yet for the Sylvester McCoy Blu-ray here in North America. And I'm here to tell you right now, breaking news. On RFS, no, there's nothing. There's no link on it at all. No. So.
But there was a good price break on season 9. Warren bought that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Did. Yeah, you bought it.
Thanks to Chris's recommendation. He sent it to me, and I was like, yep, I'm buying this. What the hell, $35? Why not?
Wow. How many Blu-rays do you have now then, Warren? I'm curious.
3 now. I have Davison.
20.
20, because... 20 what and 9? 2015 and 9.
15, 20 and 9.
There we go. Yeah.
15 I bought on my own, 20 Chris gave to me, and 9 he alerted me to, and I bought.
Just for whatever it's worth, Warren, season 24 is $34 on it.
You love season 24.
That's going to be a gap that I will laugh at. I will point and laugh at that gap on the shelf. They're actually not even on a shelf. They're sitting on the floor next to my PlayStation.
Oh, man. Great.
Probably out of broadcast order, too.
Oh, probably. Yep. But the disc, you tell you what, go in there and move the disc around too. Like, don't even have those in order in the case itself. Just
I remember because I bought the 3 new Target books with the 60th anniversary specials, and I had them out of order, and Chris immediately corrected me on the text chain saying, why are these out of broadcast order?
Put one upside down.
Which wasn't intentional, but
just do it.
And then make sure you buy 2 of them with the Target logo and one without. And
one with the Pinnacle logo that I'm going to draw on myself.
Yeah.
Create your own introduction by Harlan Ellison.
Introduction by Harlan Ellison by Warren Fry.
Yeah.
That'll go well, I'm sure.
Warren Fry.
I think that's a ripoff of The Office.
The Michael Scott thing. Yeah. Give us 100% of the shots you don't take, Wayne Gretzky, as said by me. Anyway, Happiness Patrol. When's it coming out? October 5th, I want to say, in the UK. That's
October
set.
something.
Yeah, early October. We don't know. And then, of course, Blake 7 is coming out the month after that. Still waiting for a release date for that in North America too.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice to get that and get the pre-order in and show some support.
Indeed, but it's coming. It is coming. That comes from very high sources, by the way. Not high.
Anytime now, it's a coming.
But yeah.
Ooh, season 24.
Yeah, Blake 7.
But you're season 24.
Blake 7 will be
Blake
right.
7, all right.
Yeah. Probably around the same time that our Terry Nation miniscope comes out, actually. It'll be a wall-to-wall. October, November is like Terry Nation time here on Radio Free Skaro. Just brace yourselves for that, kids. It's going to be...
God, it sounds like we need a song for that.
Yeah,
thanks, Warren.
Terry Nation Army.
It is. Great video, great YouTube series. Hey, let's talk about some action dollies. How about Daleks are very popular with the collectors apparently, and there's a couple new Dalek sets that are out.
They're popular as character options.
That's they keep saying that they keep saying that the Daleks are popular with the collectors. Why they keep doing it? They are easy to produce. Well, I should say easy produce, but they're easily to replicate. Let's face it.
To produce, probably.
Yeah, but here's a new one we haven't had: Emperor Davros from Remembrance of the Daleks.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm jazzed about it.
Yeah, I know that Bookshelf Doctors has been on hiatus for a while, but what is your dolly fixation these days, Warren? Out of curiosity,
there are a bunch of them are in the bin, and the core crew.
The bin being like the bin where you store them, not the garbage bin.
Sorry, Brett. It's a giant bin full of it's heterodox. There's a bunch of Doctor Who, mostly Doctor Who, but then other crap action figures too are in there, and other lesser series. Okay. And that's in my closet because there's just too many of the damn things. Right. But then I've got the whole proper crew sitting here, all the Doctors, Cyberbrig, Nosferatu is menacing the TARDIS. I have Sutek coming out of another TARDIS looking at sensorites and continuity impaired Cybermen around the Fifth Doctor era, cyber control console from Earthshock, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So the cool stuff is on my shelf.
You don't have a Davros yet, right?
I have a Davros. He's in the bin somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, okay. In the bin. Wow, in the bin somewhere.
But that's proper Genesis Davros.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, I don't collect these things, but if I came across it and the price was right, I might buy the Emperor Davros.
Oh yeah, it's cool, and that'd be one I'd put on the shelf just because it looks cool.
Yeah, and the white and gold livery too, which is my favorite livery of all time.
Yes,
yeah,
it's the white and gold. And I'm sure they've had the white and gold Daleks in.
Oh, they do. Sets. Those are gorgeous. I remember when in the late TNG movies and into later movies, they had their new dress outfits were white and gold, and it's like, that's just like the Daleks in the Remembrance and
like in Troy and Wrecker's Wedding.
Yes.
So I have a color of Daleks question for both of you. Right. As I was watching Dalek Invasion of Earth, one of the Supreme Dalek or whatever he was, the guy in charge was yelling, and he's a little off black and white, and I'm like, is this the red guy or not?
No,
black and white.
No, he's not, because they hadn't made the movies yet. So
okay.
It wasn't.
I thought maybe he might have been red but shot in black and white. So.
No,
some of the movie props were repurposed for Day of the Daleks.
Okay. We're gonna
or
they
wrong?
weren't. No, that's wrong.
They weren't.
Let me link it. Just go watch season 2 of Terry Nation Army, and you'll find out the entire. No, you're thinking of Planet of the Daleks. They repurposed one for the Dalek Supreme at the end.
And
did
they have one in Asylum? I can't remember.
You know what? I don't remember. There was a massive video that Gav Reimel. Yeah, Gav Reimel put together a big video to see. Here are all the mistakes. For instance, Nick Huron, who directed that, I think said, I don't want this silly old Dalek to be the one from Exelon. We're going to put a brand new Dalek in there. And so it was he, as good a director as he is.
He's our mortal enemy.
He's our mortal enemy, who said, well, we're going to be screen accurate and have an actual Exelon Dalek in there as the crazy one. But they didn't do it. So,
Nick Huron.
Yep.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Well, Day of the Doctor just tanked him.
All right. One of the worst episodes ever made.
Absolutely terrible, yeah. Not one of the greatest cinema experiences of my life. Not at all, no.
You bring up Dalek Invasion of Earth, Warren, and I will say that the Dalek Supreme that's painted like different colored slats in episode 2 is repainted for the rest of the show. That looks dumb. Let's change it for next week.
I did notice that. Yeah.
Going back to TV being so ephemeral in those days, that you could do that change from week to week, as opposed to now when you're making 8 movies as a TV series. Anyway, the other Dalek History of the Dalek set is also from Remembrance of the Daleks, with the gray and black, and then the black with silver domes on it, the one that Doctor Who talks himself into dying. Or is this the Resurrection ones? I don't even know. It's from Resurrection. That's what it is. So, which is cool. So, hey, you could continue adding to your Resurrection of the Daleks play set with all the little stock characters that run out of the warehouse and get shot at the beginning of episode 1. Can't stand the confusion in my mind. Stein guy. Oh, do we have a character of him yet?
No, that's a dolly I want. No, we'll never get that.
Oh, we need a Rodney Buse one for that. We need
that guy's basically how everybody felt during the pandemic. So we need that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, basically this is just our crusade that we need to literally complete an entire cast list, including extras of select stories from the classic series. As
we need the
character.
We need his replaceable heads for the guy who goes, "Oh, what's that smell?" And then his face is all screwed up.
As lampooned paid homage to in It's a Sin.
Yeah.
That I haven't watched yet, apart from that scene.
By the way, that never made sense to me as a kid watching. I'm like, well, how'd this happen? What's going on? All right.
Apparently, he had the Magellan virus. Apparently, that's what happens when he's.
Yeah, they don't really communicate that clearly.
They don't. It's kind of weirdly directed by Matthew Robinson. But have we done a commentary for that Resurrection of the Daleks? Pretty sure we have.
I don't know. I can look it up.
Yeah, probably. Well, you can do that, or you can choose not to, Chris. It's up to you.
Oh no, I can't. No.
Now that I've dropped it in there. It's just like this is completely opposite to what Warren would do, because Warren can very comfortably have 3 Doctor Who's collection seasons on Blu-ray and none else, because you were.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
because I'm not insane. You see, well, so I'm differently insane.
Yeah.
Resurrection, you said? No, we have not.
Fun. I can't wait.
We have not done Resurrection or Planet of Fire, but we've done what's the one before Resurrection?
Frontios.
We've done that, and we've done Caves.
That is surprising.
Wow. Well, golly gee.
And we have yet to do Twin Dilemma, Attack, or Vengeance on Varos.
I love Attack. I do not love Twin Dilemma.
I love Twin Dilemma. I can't wait for Twin Dilemma.
And we have not done Warriors of the Deep. So
oh my God. Oh,
there's some stuff to look forward to eventually there.
Oh, yeah. Classic series commentaries. Love it.
I do love Warriors of the Deep. Maybe, I know I shouldn't, but I do.
You know what we should do?
What's up?
Maybe just before, whenever we find out when the War Between the Land and the Sea goes out.
Yeah.
Just shoehorn in a Warriors of the Deep thing.
I'm
down.
Sequel too. I like that idea.
Just for the hell of it.
I like that idea.
That's a great idea.
You've been listening to podcast planning segment here on Ready for Skaro.
That's a tease of our entire lives during the week.
Yeah.
So
alternately, we could do Sea Devils or the Whittaker one.
Too easy. That's too easy.
No. Warriors of the Deep. Come on, Karate Chop and Murka. What more do you want?
The proper classic Who. The epoch where they built up to, basically.
Other than the Sea Devils don't feature quite as prominently as the Silurians do in that. But
I don't know.
They do have those nifty helmets, which everybody hates but me.
That's true. I like them too. Yeah, sure. That sounds great.
Yeah, true. The samurai helmets,
whatever comes up. Anyway, Dolly's B&M is where they're going to be, but you'll probably be able to find them on various places on the interweb if you are so inclined to increase your Dalek collection from character options.
And
some at Gallifrey One, I don't doubt.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
That's probably why I'd pick up good old Emperor Davros.
Or Chicago TARDIS even. Who knows? Which we'll be going to. Bought our tickets and everything.
Possibly,
everything's booked for Eric and I going back to Chicago TARDIS. First time in 5 years.
And when is that again?
November. Last weekend of November. Thanksgiving weekend.
All right. Biden will still be president. Very good.
Yes, he will still be president.
The election will have happened.
Yes,
it will have happened. Yeah,
but this is the one time that the gap months of American transition are actually working in your favor, unless of course Kamala wins, in which case it's totally working in your favor.
It would be fun. Yeah. I'm just thinking about the Doctor Who fun that we'll have there. And so that's going to happen. So if you're a Chicago TARDIS, I'll be there. Say hello. Don't say hello. Leave me alone.
What a jerk. Canadian politeness out the window.
He's gonna have this entourage of security around you or something.
Yeah, just like
Okay.
no. Just gonna carry like 4 different velvet ropes and just walk a step, move each velvet rope around. There we go.
That is the worst cosplay ever.
Yeah, that is terrible.
No, I think the best cosplay ever is when I saw 3 people behind plexiglass being the 3 super guys from Superman the movie in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
I saw that. That was pretty cool. Hey, you know what? There's no Doctor Who being made for quite a while because partly because it hasn't been renewed, but also because Ncuti Gatwa is in a play. He's in a theater play, a new stage revival of Importance of Being Earnest, which is going to be on for 2 months in November through to January. Well, hey, you don't have to go to jolly old England to go see it because a filmed version of that will be in theaters starting February 20th. Worldwide, because I know that on our Cineplex theaters here in Canada, they have these little National Theatre Live, and you can go watch a live play and stuff like that. And I thought that would be kind of interesting.
I'm not a theater person, but I'm glad people have that option.
Right, it is kind of cool, and so they're going to be doing that. So look at that. So upon going to Gallifrey One, you could go see Ncuti Gatwa in the theater on stage on the screen. So there you go. That's pretty cool. So. Yay for that. Hey, been a while since we've been able to talk about some fictitious awards, but Doctor Who is the finalist for 5 BAFTA Welsh Awards, a.k.a. the Welshies, as termed by Chris. Ncuti Gatwa is up for Best Actor. Tim Hodges for editing. Claire Williams, makeup and hair. The sound team, all of them, for sound, unsurprisingly, and then Russell T Davies as writer. So, and these are actual proper awards, not like fan awards that you have to click and vote on, right? I think it's just actual proper awards. So, industry awards, whenever the Bosch Welf does,
which aren't a million miles away from fan awards. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
The sound team, that would be not Murray Gold.
Not Murray Gold. No, he drowns out.
We're talking sound.
Yeah. I mean, they do make his music does make sound, but he's not up for sound.
No, these are like the midnight guys. Yeah. The guys who made that episode what it was, that kind of thing.
Just because that's the one of the 5 that doesn't have actual specific names.
Right. Yeah. Just the sound team.
Probably there's 16 people in that one. So
yeah.
Oh, yeah. More than would fit. Yeah.
All that stuff. So cool. I don't know when those are being handed out, but let's go Doctor Who, win some Welshies again. And lastly, before our Planet of the Spiders Part 5 commentary, there's a new video from David Gillespie Pratt, whose YouTube page is great. It's been a while since he's had a video out, so I wanted to point it out, where a lot of times on David's YouTube site, he basically pieces together missing episodes or talks about mysteries therein, based on the original scripts and camera scripts. So he's not recreating them. He's going through and sort of looking at various mysteries. And this one is piecing together the puzzle of the very first scene of The Power of the Daleks, basically going through, comparing the camera script to what telesnaps and 8mm home video films and promotional shots they have from rehearsal for it, and basically piecing together what the episode might have looked at. It's great. A nice archaeological sort of look at this sort of thing about the opening scene, which is 7 minutes long. This opening scene in that TARDIS is 7 minutes long, and it's a great rundown of it. So links in the show notes. Check it out on the YouTube streaming service, where they have neat stuff like this and old hockey, which is why I like you. And as we as we found out last week, videos on how to edit videotape in 1967,
and nothing else.
Certainly no. Was it Starlost?
Starlost is gone. Yeah, thanks to them shutting down my YouTube channel. So I'm annoyed by not YouTube, but I'm annoyed by the people who own the rights to the Starlost, but do not do anything with it.
Here's what we need to do. We need to make reaction videos to educational films from the 60s about editing video.
It sounds great. It'll just be me, like, just watching it going, that'll be
God.
good. Yeah.
So you can always, maybe you should resurrect your channel and start a whole series of Steven reacts to 1970s videotape videos.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah. Except I won't. Because I'd be
you
silly.
shouldn't. Why bother? No. That sounds like work.
Yeah. I'm just closing it up. I'm not yes-anding that. Just like you didn't yes-and the intro at the beginning of this, Chris. I'm not yes-anding that.
I never do.
I know. Instead, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to wrap this whole segment, this whole hour-long segment of news and blather, all as a...
Mostly blather. All is just presaging. This, the commentary, the classic series commentary for Part 5 of Planet of the Spiders.
Are the microphones wired in?
All round the condenser, most merciful. We're looking forward to excellent duodecaphonic sound.
This is the moment when I get a real feeling of job satisfaction.
Welcome back to the commentary portion of this here podcast, Radio Free Skaro. We are about to watch the penultimate story of the original run of Jon Pertwee's Doctor Who, recorded, timestamp, on the anniversary of his birthday, July 7th, 2024. Yep, that's when we're recording this right now.
Mm-hmm.
On a hot day as we all swelter in our respective rooms to watch
I'm in a glass cube.
Yeah.
A glass cube, I tells you.
Yeah.
You mentioned it being his original run. Do you count Dimensions in Time as his, like, callback?
Well,
No.
he's also in Five Doctors, so,
I don't count Dimensions in Time as anything.
He was also the Doctor on Ultimate Adventure on the stage in 1989 as well. So, yeah, the original run. There you are.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Let's get this running.
Okay, let's do it. Get all your legally purchased Blu-rays, DVDs ready, because we're about to watch Planet of the Spiders, Part 5 in 3, 2, 1, play.
Time tunnel.
I know, I love it. Still love it.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me way too long to notice the Pertwee cape. Watch the cape now on the left. Watch it. It goes, boom,
Yeah.
and then boom, at the bottom left of the corner.
Oh, yeah.
That's the remnant of his cape there until the logo comes in. And that bugged me for years. I thought, what got stuck there? That was it. You probably wouldn't see it. You wouldn't have seen it on your standard tube TV at the time.
Underscan, yeah.
Yeah.
Or overscan, I mean.
Yeah. Now this is where it's going to get silly. This episode, not
Here?
well, maybe
This is where it gets silly?
Well, because so as we mentioned, so we recorded the Part 4 commentary like a few weeks ago as we record this. So I don't know what we said. We'll just repeat ourselves. But there was bad CSO apparently, so bad that they didn't even use it, and so therefore this episode is now underrunning. So they've had to basically pull the cliffhanger from last week far into this. This is no longer this shouldn't have been the cliffhanger, but it was. But episode 6 is where we'll really see it. Basically, there's about like 15 minutes of new footage in episode 15 of episode 6, and that's it. So
It's like the Itchy and Scratchy film.
it is, yeah, pretty much is. Now contains.
I just like how you got this weird abstract spider thing, and then this guy who's the most 70s guy ever
Right.
in his jacket and turtleneck.
So the way he's like, holding the protrusions, whatnot.
Yeah.
There's a restaurant chain in the U.S. called Heart Attack Grill.
I've been there. I've been to in Vegas.
In Vegas on Fremont. So the shtick, amongst other things, is if you don't finish your food, you kind of like same position as leptin, but just turned around.
Oh yeah, no, I had this happen to me. So yes,
And the waitress will come and take a paddle and spank you.
Actual?
So maybe, yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I went with a friend of the show, Dave Barsky, and his friend who was on Dirty Jobs because she used to be a window washer,
Right.
and then she worked at Heart Attack Grill. She's the one who delivered the fatal blow to my behind.
I feel like some people of a certain persuasion might just go there, have one bite, and
I would
go,
assume
oh,
so.
no,
I am not of that
I
persuasion,
can't
so I was like,
finish
"Oh, she's not kidding.
it."
This
Yeah.
really hurts."
Yeah.
I honestly couldn't.
mean-
It's a giant burger. I couldn't finish it.
Well, you can decide how large of a burger you want, anywhere up to 8 patties and bacon and cheese. And
It wasn't
whatever,
that crazy.
But I mean, I'm sure there are people who get whatever. Because you can finish your food and still request a spanking if you really want.
We ended up hanging out with her afterwards.
I've seen people on YouTube do it. So.
A few drinks, and just pertaining to that, there's a woman a little person who worked there, and people would specifically want her to do the spanking. So yes, that goes in. That's what we were told anyway.
Like how many fetishes at once do you want? Because they're dressed like nurses.
It's Vegas. This is pretty low stakes Vegas wise. Come on.
The waitresses are all dressed as nurses. All the patrons have to wear hospital gowns.
Speaking of fetishes, this whole web thing is kind
I
of
know,
dipping into that well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Planet of the S&M.
And the H&M.
Saw this as a teenager, and this didn't. No, in fact, this never dawned on me until just now. They also look like they're in giant marijuana cigarettes.
I mean, giant spliffs, basically, yeah.
We are going to light you and smoke you. Can you imagine these spiders high? They're really high strung. Maybe it would help, actually.
Yeah. There's Max Faulkner right there, everybody. I think that's Max
These
Faulkner.
costumes are just so, well, not good, but good in quotes.
They remind me a little bit. The hats
and,
remind me of what they wore in the Sunmakers, oddly enough.
Sunmakers, it works better. It kind of fits with the corporate fascism. This is just...
It is kind of odd. What do you dress guards as on a planet of the spiders where there are also humans? You know,
we need bare arms but fur to keep our shoulders warm.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes no practical sense.
Sarah's jacket there was
Where
basically...
Where did they get the fur from?
I don't know. Well, there's other animals.
Maybe it's spider wool.
There must be animal life on the...
Yeah.
Because whichever brother there is wearing basically a sheepskin vest. So.
Mm-hmm. There are other
this reminds me of
animals.
Snatch for some reason, where they go meet the caravan people.
This was the original notion for the Greatest Show in the Galaxy cast.
You can kind of tell that Barry Letts had little confidence in Jenny Laird's performance here because he stayed off her for most of her impassioned speech and only cut to her at the end.
Well, what do you think, Gaggle and Frank Zappa's?
Yeah.
The way that this would have been shot with, two episodes per fortnight, like 3 and 4 would have been shot. He would have learned his lesson. But
yeah, good point.
They rolled around shooting 5-6.
Yeah.
How many times have I yelled "death to the legs" and then been looked at strangely?
I try not to kill them.
Boy, what a great quote for fandom.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate it if you shut up for a moment.
Yeah.
Well, the part before that too. You're stoic, whatever.
Yeah.
Inevitability.
See now,
Karl Marx here.
So, and Ncuti Gatwa mentions his hot summer with Harry Houdini. That's Terry Walsh, by the way. Jon Pertwee couldn't even do this stunt on his own because of his bad back.
Oh yeah. Well,
wriggle out of a thing. Anyway, Ncuti Gatwa mentions his hot summer with Harry Houdini in Church on Ruby Road, but clearly he's talking about the hot summer that Pert had. Assuming it was Pert, maybe it was Troughton. Maybe Troughton and Houdini got it on. I don't know.
There have been previous Dr. Houdini references, right? I'm pretty sure there have been.
Maybe. This is certainly the most direct one, but
for some reason I've got this idea that Colin Baker hung out with Houdini, or Sixth Doctor hung out with Houdini, but based on the book, maybe? I don't know. Maybe
it might have been. Sarah's outfit is like the background of the pyramid on Mars, basically.
It totally is. Maybe that's the inspiration.
Maybe it was. We'll just like zoom in and out.
2 years early.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if this shirt was actually doing that?
That's what I was thinking. Like maybe they just like, how do we do this effect? Well, you remember that outfit you wore, Planet of the Spiders? I think we just zoom in and out of that.
I pity my poor Zenith television. Yeah. Looking at that.
As we'll find out, Sutek was getting piggyback rides from Sarah the whole time.
That's true. We have, thankfully not yet, though. Thankfully not yet. No Sutek clinging onto the outside.
Yeah, I have to keep reminding myself that previous doctors, previous to the fourth Doctor, those doctors had none of this Sutek nonsense happening.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that we'll be probably pretending to wish all that away for future doctors.
Oh, probably. Well. But this is a big dolly problem. My dolly is right next to Sutek coming out of the TARDIS.
Oh, yeah.
Should Jo Martin, who is, of course, as is proper, the first Doctor in the whole list, should she be looking over? But then she'll go, who is this guy? I don't know what the hell this is.
Sutek has been... Him. Yeah, no, Sutek's been clinging to the TARDIS that's been buried underground near the lighthouse for how many millennia?
Yeah, I guess. Well, no, because she came before.
It's almost as if
that's
this is a half-baked idea that RTD tossed off, then justified.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. Yeah.
It's the death of death. What does that mean? Shut up.
Had the thought when he was like,
think about RTD tossing off.
Had the thought of back when he was like 13 or 14, and then never really advanced it past.
And
his
then a full half century
years.
later, decided we're going with this.
Yep.
I mean, let's be fair. Plenty of showrunners and writers have come up with dumb ideas.
Very true.
Not just him.
That's true.
Like this entire run of this story, for one.
I like the story.
Well, I don't particularly.
You know what? I wonder if you I'm curious if you chopped it down and just minimized the spider bits. It just because that's the weak link. But the stuff in the monastery, outside of course the yellow face,
and keep some of the chase, but pare that down to like 10 minutes. Keep all
yeah.
the bits of it in, but pare it down.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm fascinated to do a 60-minute edit of this.
So you could basically create a good version of The Hobbit with this.
Yeah,
that somebody took all 3 movies and made it into one.
Mm-hmm. Well, you just got to get yourself, Brendan Shepard, and Benjamin Cook in a room, and
I don't like that idea at all.
see what happens
with the blade tool.
I have to tell him my opinion of the writer's tale, which is pretty low. So, or him within it. Let's put it that way.
Good old Jon Pertwee just doing his best to debate this toy spider. Acting is tough. Let's face it.
People like to, especially me, like to deride actors. But having to pretend this is for reals,
I've come around.
I couldn't do it.
I've come around on actors. I got to tell. At first, I thought they were just like nuisances. Basically how George Lucas thought they were for the most of his career. But now I appreciate their efforts. It must be really tough.
I mean, you can have both opinions simultaneously. Yeah. I do.
Well, I mean, imagine. So, there's all the acting to nothing these days with the green screen and, tennis balls and whatever. But
what drove Liam Neeson mad.
Yeah. But even still, leaning over onto the thing on your elbow and talking to this plastic twitching spider thing, that's not easy.
No, it isn't. And he was drunk at the time, too. Had been...
it's Britain in the 70s. Everyone was drunk.
That's a very good point.
Isn't there I think it's on video of Ian McKellen basically breaking down because it's all green screen in The Hobbit and you just can't take it anymore?
Oh, yeah. Where did I see that recently? It came up very recently in a YouTube critique or something like that.
I think I heard about it years ago, but yeah.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh, the poor guy. Look what you're doing to him. You didn't have to do this back in the...
Intelligence as a concept. This is every edgelord on the internet. Man.
Quotient. Yeah, poor Tommy.
Well, Tommy, we all feel like that nowadays.
Yep. Or is he going to go as Tom now? I don't know what...
Tommy, can you hear me?
Good old Yates.
Well, to rip off a different Doctor Who joke, maybe he became a navigator and he's Tom Tom.
Boo.
Terrible.
Terrible. That was a bad joke then, and there's no reason to bring it up now.
Thomas.
Yeah, there you go. There's an example of another, although he didn't base an entire series finale on it. It was just a throwaway joke, but still, it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go. This is why this Lupton has gone down to the cellar. Lupton has gone down to the cellar. Lupton.
Wow, this remix is
I know.
Dry.
It's like Eclectic Method chopped that together there. Rare use of flashbacks in Doctor Who, actually. This is super rare.
Well, you got to pull out all the stops for
a regeneration
Doctor's
special.
last story.
Yeah. Choji.
Stephen, weren't we supposed to have our Metabolus crystals at the ready for?
Oh, I forgot about it.
For this episode, and we forgot.
Yeah, we did.
I've got mine sitting right here next to me. So.
No, we're not on video anyway, so it doesn't matter really.
True.
Oh, here it is right here. See? I've got it right here, as you can see. Here we go.
Some CSO.
Here's some proper CSO. See, I feel like we've missed something there. I feel like some scenes have been chopped out now because he just sort of goes there and we don't see him enter a cavern. He just goes around a corner hallway. Do we really? I guess we do, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, he pulls the webs aside and goes through a little hole in the wall.
It's a cool looking model too, I have to say.
Wasn't paying attention. Yeah.
Yeah. And the best part is there's absolutely no semblance in its CSO.
None.
Come on. That's part of the charm.
It is. This was advanced stuff back in those days. This is the green screen you see on TV now. Just they didn't know how to do it as well back then.
Yeah, Pert's mop is giving it a few, making it work.
Yeah, I feel like CSO came along at the same time as Big Hair came along, which is the worst possible combination.
Yeah.
If you had bald people,
big male hair, no less, which is of course the focus of most 70s TV. So.
Like you stick Yul Brynner on a blue screen and no one's complaining. But you get
he was ahead of his time. He should have been a Jedi.
You get Pert's Bouffant on there, and well, of course it's going to look like crap. Listen, I've seen some bad green screen effects in movies made like last year. So
one of my absolute favorites is there's Waterworld, which isn't as bad a movie as people. It's not a great movie, but it's not as unmitigatedly terrible as people make it out to be. But there's a shot near the end where they clearly ran out of money because it's the worst blue screen you've ever seen in your life.
Oh no!
Now that is, to be fair, 95, so it's kind of like I don't think there's any CG in the movie anyway.
No, probably
maybe a little bit, but it's not good. That's what I love about the early 90s and 2000s, actually more the 90s, where with Voyager. And bits of DS9, where the effects were there because they could use them, but they probably shouldn't have.
I haven't seen it in 20 years, but I remember liking The Postman.
I loved the book, and then I saw the movie, and I'm like, that wasn't great. But again, it wasn't as terrible as everybody was saying it was.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go see Horizon, though. I'm not in the least bit interested.
No. As we just roll. What is your favorite Kevin Costner movie, everybody?
Dances Wolves, clearly. Or JFK, but we're talking directing the Dances Wolves.
Field of Dreams. But actually, you know what?
Field of Dreams is up there. It's
13 Days is pretty good.
I was going to say the exact same thing. 13 Days is an underrated banger. It's really good.
Yeah, very good movie.
And starring a Canadian as JFK.
Star Trek.
And he's very good as JFK.
Bruce
that's
Greenwood.
A really good movie.
Yeah, and he's not doing like a Mayor Quimby like impersonation of him either. He's just a good performance as JFK.
No, and Costner is like second banana in it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
You mean Star Trek 2009's?
That's who I mean. Yeah.
Yep.
Awful movie. Anyway, back to Lupton here. Clever Lupton tea. Either of you tea drinkers, Lipton tea?
Every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
How
Yorkshire.
accurate are the meditation scenes in this, I wonder? Like how
the hell would I know?
Deep into Buddhism was Barry Letts when he wrote this?
More accurate than if it wasn't Barry Letts writing it, I bet you.
Yeah.
I remember many, many years ago reading the novelization for The Abominable Snowman, and some of the chants in there are featured in here. Like Om Mani Padme Hum is in there. So I'm assuming that's something legitimate.
Yeah, that's a standard.
I'm not a Buddhist, but
yeah, that is a standard Buddhist thing.
I once interviewed the mayor of Surrey. She is a Buddhist.
Is she really?
Well, she's not the mayor of Surrey anymore, but she was for a while. I think she's in MLA now. I don't remember.
Those are creepy spiders. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't a bad effect, all things considered.
That was not bad. That was not bad.
I have a sneaking love for this particular video effect.
Oh, it is great. Honestly, the fringing kind of makes it even look like slightly otherworldly. Some of those spiders.
I used to love when Star Trek did it on film, too.
Yeah.
Or a version of it.
Here's some proper yellow face. Here we go.
The two words that should never go, or three words, I guess, that should never go together.
Yeah, this is how they did it back in those days for some people. It, like, I'm trying to, did they actually, tape his eyes? I think they might have. And it's just
and he's a Time Lord on top of everything else.
And he's a Time Lord.
And a Sontarn.
Yeah.
Time Lords are a dime a dozen back then.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, boy, I sure hope we don't go to war with the Daleks and destroy everything. I really hope that doesn't happen.
Well, I mean, all the Pertwee are here, like Three Doctors or Terror of the Autons or The Master or here or, yeah.
Honestly, this, what they do for regenerate, spoilers, this is, he's going to regenerate in this, in episode 6, but what they do is, is completely upsetting. It's kind of like the bi-generation of the classic series, you know?
Could you imagine if Choji was sitting there and he regenerated new series style into Campo? Like, just with, all the regenergy and everything blowing up around him?
Oh, my God. Oh.
That's another thing I have fun is for really crappy lightning effects.
Yeah. Spark generator. That's what that was.
Psychic lighting.
That is just...
That's neat. That's it. They had one reel and one CSO.
Yeah, that was actually kind of cool.
It was a quick shot. Get away with it. That's not Sarah. What is Sarah? But she's possessed. What about Sabor? Oh, there he's.
Something on her back.
Whoa! Look out! This is all awkwardly done. I feel like there's been stuff cut out of there. All of a sudden, he's just there. There we go.
Frank Zappa's here, along with Zappa 2.
Yeah. All these mustachioed men. They kind of look like the original backup band for Fleetwood Mac, actually, before.
They kind of look like Lesser Wind Guards.
Lesser Wind Guards. Oh, is this it? Is this it for her? I don't think that might be it. Oh. See you, Jenny Laird. R.I.P. I think she's dead now, but not in the story. Perfectly fine in the story. Here's a good effect. Look at that. See that? So they haven't done. They actually CSO'd the TARDIS in where Paul Bernard, when he directed Time Monster, had no idea what to do, and like basically had everybody in shot stand still and tried to fade in the TARDIS that way. It didn't work. So we just saw a couple different ones. So that one shot where the spiders are disappearing, they had a split screen effect with the two guys who had lost their spiders already and were moving, and then the guys on the left had spiders, but they dissolved from that to one another. It's a complicated little shot there, all done in real time. This is done in real time. The spark generator had to line it up. There's no post-production in these days. So yes, you think it looks like crap, but it's all done as live. Try to do that there, Marvel Television, with your She-Hulks and your Wanda's Vision, and
you show them, tell them. Actually, Chris shared a thing of the top 10 Disney stuff, and only one Marvel thing, WandaVision, was on there. I found that very surprising.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And 5 of the 10 were Star Wars properties.
Mm-hmm. And Futurama was number 2. Although I guess there's a new Futurama to watch.
Yeah, so. we're talking about a one random screen grab of viewing figures for one
1 week.
1 week. Okay, wow.
Fairly fair enough.
Yeah, July 5th.
Still interesting.
Uh-huh. That is George.
Now, is this guy also a Time Lord? I don't remember. Probably.
Well,
yep.
he is. I think we're spoiling episode. That is not Tibetan. He is not speaking. No, he does not. He speaks none of it. He is speaking gibberish.
I don't think he was speaking none of it either.
He is. No, he was certainly not speaking Nunavut.
None of it was not invented by that point. It was still the Northwest Territories, I believe.
Still all Northwest Territories, Frobisher Bay instead of Iqaluit. Yeah. Talking about Canadian geography there, kids, just in case you're wondering.
Yeah, I kind of think that bores Canadians even.
Yeah, why not me? I mean, apart from, we have 10 provinces and 3 territories now, which I thought, well, that kind of ruins calendars because we could do a Canadian geography calendar and have a province or territory for each month.
Yeah, so you just make a 13-month calendar and have like the next January in there or something.
I suppose.
Yeah, is that all? Just change the calendar. Just change the entire basis for our year.
Why not? Make it metric calendars or something like that. But
lousy smirch weather.
So what I like about this is this is the old guy. We'll find out. He's the old guy who Jon Pertwee remembers from his story about the Daisiest Daisy in the Time Monster, and the King Dalios in that is played by George Cormack, who is in fact that guy right there. Interesting tie-in. Here comes another cliffhanger that was not supposed to be the cliffhanger, because we are about halfway through I can't remember where we are. We're early on anyway. This is not the cliffhanger.
Big hair fight. Big hair fight.
But it'll get next episode will get really, really wonky.
Can you imagine how much toxic petroleum-based aftershave is in this room right now?
Oh man, to cover up all the cigarette smoke, I'll bet too. I'm mildly amazed that you don't see as much like cigarette smoke, like just wafting in a little bit from just off camera, like from everyone smoking there. I wonder if
we're
there's a
lucky,
rule.
there's some Irish Spring scent floating through.
Yeah.
And we like it too. That's right. Bringing that one back.
Mm-hmm. Googe and Nimrod there.
Menacing bald dude.
Yeah. There's not enough of those guys. Comb over guy.
That is a serious comb over.
Yeah.
Damn, this guy's getting
Not a cliffhanger.
barbecued. What the hell?
Not a cliffhanger at all, but...
Well, it is now. So tough.
Yeah, that it is. Oof. So there we go. That was episode 5.
It sure was.
Planet of the Spiders.
I don't remember any of this, to be honest with you.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well,
Walter
not caring
Randall,
about the
guard
story.
captain, one half of Pertwee's Burgers.
Oh, there's Barnes.
There's Christopher Burgess on there.
Okay. I just looked it up. Yeah. I never realized that was Nimrod there.
That was Nimrod.
Carl Forgione.
Ford, get on
So I can call you a real Nimrod? No, I can only call you Barnes.
Yeah. You can only call him Barnes or the other characters that Christopher Burgess
Exactly.
played.
Those are the rules.
in Doctor Who. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, join us next time, kids, as we ring out the Jon Pertwee era in style with part 6 of his final story, Planet of the Spiders. Until next time, I'm Stephen Nebiton.
We're in Vancouver.
And Kristen Edmonton.
So long for now.